All right. So for our one review, sadly only one this week. It was the new Netflix film His House, which, like you said, annoyingly we would have done last week to tie in with the Halloween episode, but I think it came out on Halloween.
Yeah, or
the day
possibly
before.
the day before.
Yeah. So we wouldn't have managed to record it in time, annoyingly.
Yeah.
But so it's a new Netflix horror film director. It's another first-time director as well. So we've had a few recently. The guy called Remy Weeks, with a story by Felicity Evans and Toby Venables. It stars Wunmi Masaku as Rial. I believe is it pronounced Rial, the character? I'm pretty sure it's Rial. And then
so you caught me in the middle of a
I shouldn't have asked. You were drinking
beer.
All right, so it's Wunmi Masaku as Rial and Sope Derisu as Bol, a married couple from South Sudan, who flee Sudan due to the war going on there and become refugees and seek asylum in the UK. And so they have a horrid time of getting to the UK. And along the way, they lose their daughter whilst crossing the channel. And when they arrive here, they get allocated a council house and are told that they will be approved only if they pass their probation period, which includes living there and abiding by certain rules and certain... rules. I couldn't think of another bloody word.
Well, I think one of the things is about assimilating.
Yeah, there's...
Isn't it?
Yeah, I'll get into that in a minute. But then as they start living in this house, they start to sort of realise that maybe they're not alone in the house. Maybe they start hearing noises in the night and start hearing voices and seeing people and things around the house and start to believe that maybe they're not alone.
I'm appreciating your valiant effort not to give any spoilers about this.
Hey, we are a spoiler-free show.
It's going to be really difficult not to give any spoilers at all for this. So
I've on the way here, I was thinking of how I can discuss certain scenes without spoiling anything. But first off, I want to ask you what you thought of it, just in general, because I'm gonna go on a bit of a barrage in a minute.
Okay, well, I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed this film.
Okay, I can finally say I fucking love this film so much.
Okay, that's good. We're on the same page. I found it was incredibly compelling. I thought it was more complex than a generic horror movie because it's that haunted house style approach that you would see in a horror movie, but it incorporates so much more than that within the story and within the character development. There, in a way, it kind of transitions between a horror movie and a drama.
I think horror drama would be the best way to summarize the genre.
Yeah, and without trying to give away too much of the game, a big part of this film is about the human reactions and the perspective of asylum seekers, and how actually it's, the media will play whatever. I'm trying not to get too political, but the media plays on certain narratives and perspectives of asylum seekers, and this film completely fleshed out a perspective that is otherwise completely untold.
I think that was one thing that struck me about it, was that it's one of the... I was watching it and I just thought, I know... Oh God, he's opened it. I know so many people that would benefit from watching this, because especially Western white people, of which we are, so many people never put themselves in the shoes of the people on the other side, the people that are fleeing these war-torn countries and want to come here. And the arguments of, well, they're living off benefit. Yeah, but why? You've got to think why they would want to come here, live in a shit place, on barely any money, and treated by shit by people like you. You've got to stop and think that the place they're fleeing must be even worse if that's the reason they're coming. And it's done in sort of through flashbacks and almost hallucinations, as to throughout you get little bits more information about their journey and about where they came from, and it fleshes it out so much more than just a typical we've moved into a haunted house thing, which, as like you said, has been done so many times before. But I loved it so much because I think the story of it is so needed.
Yeah, it's that thing where it's like it's not just something that was necessary, but it's accomplished so well. I was incredibly impressed by the performances from the cast. I was impressed by, first time director. Like,
I was thinking this because we had Saint Maud last week.
So confident and assured for a first-time director. I was amazed.
That's what I'm saying. We got lucky because we had Saint Maud the other week, which was first debut, and that was great.
Yeah.
And then now we've got this, which I actually prefer this to Saint Maud. I think this is it's so well done, and I'm not ashamed to admit I cried on 3 separate occasions.
Oh, wow.
And every time was the scenes that were linked with their backstory. That's how compelling I found that whole narrative. It was so well done. And the good thing about it was that not only did I get really emotionally invested, it did actually scare me a few times, which is like, that's my minimum benchmark for a horror film is I have to be scared at least a fair bit.
And I think again, to bring up Saint Maud, that was one of the comparisons is I was scared by this film. Like, Saint Maud, I
was unsettled.
I was unsettled and I found things uncomfortable and distressing. But this, I was also home alone when I watched it.
Well, see, I've watched it twice now. I woke up really early this morning and then went to the gym and was like, you know what? I've got a few hours. I'm just going to watch it again because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I just watched it and still was impressed by it this time. The visual effects in it are great. There's a lot of flashback and I don't say what would you call it? Not hallucinations, but
apparitions.
Yeah, apparitions and stuff like that, which I think are done really well. And it's all set in the context of this very derelict-looking council flat that is literally falling apart at the seams. And I think it's a great setting for a horror. There's obviously been a fair few, but horror films set in UK council flats, I think, is a really good setting for it, and it used it really well.
Yeah. It wasn't the typical Baroque style.
It wasn't Haunting on Hill House.
It's not
like some old mansion with spider webs and shit.
Yeah, and that was what was quite nice about this. It was very refreshing in terms of the take wasn't. I don't think this will spoil it, but it's not so much about the ghosts that you find. It's the ghosts that follow you.
Yeah,
and that was more.
Nice bit of foreshadowing there.
Yeah, it was more interesting in that.
Yeah, I think that's it ties into what we've already said, and it really benefited from having that fleshed out idea of there is a reason that there are ghosts appearing, and there's things that have been brought with the characters that give a deeper meaning to everything, rather than just we moved into the wrong place. There's a reason that they're being haunted. There's a reason that these things are going on.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed, as you said, the acting was fucking spot on, so good. The sound design I thought was really good as well, because there's a lot of use of like little whispering that you can just about hear, and like footsteps running around. And I thought it was all done really well.
Yeah, I actually I watched the film with subtitles because there was, unfortunately, as I was watching it, there was some noise going on outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, the subtitles did help, but in a way kind of distracted from the very subtle sound engineering that was taking place.
Yeah, see, that's because the first time I watched it was later in the evening, and I managed to watch it in a quiet setting. I didn't have subtitles, but I could hear what was those little things.
Yeah.
And then when I rewatched it this morning, I had to, because it was middle of the day, I had to watch it with subtitles, and it worked both times. But yeah, it's definitely one you want to watch in a quiet space, preferably in a dark room, probably on your own if you want to get maximum impact from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so good, and it genuinely did make me feel. Obviously, I've always tried to be as compassionate as I can be to people in refugees in those situations. But I honestly think more people need to watch it, just because I think it would open a lot of people's eyes into what refugees have to go through.
Yeah, I think it's important viewing.
Yeah,
more than anything else. it's so. I would say it's imperative that if you want to broaden your perspective, then this is something that combines art and human politics.
Oh yeah, it's come out at the perfect time as well, with social intolerance, I guess, is the politest way I can put it. But yeah, I really loved it. I've thought about saying this, but I was like, no, that's quite a bold statement, but I'm gonna say it. It's my favourite horror film since Midsommar that I've seen, and for anyone that knows me and knows how much I love Midsommar, that's quite high praise.
I was going to say that's very.
I'm not saying it's better than Midsommar.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Midsommar's my child. That's my baby. But it is fucking good.
Well, let's go to ratings then.
9.
9.
Yeah, not even gonna dick about. Just going for 9.
Yeah, fair enough.
100%.
I was umming and ahhing about it, and I was thinking about giving it an 8 at one point, because it wouldn't be fair to say the film wasn't without some criticism.
Oh no, it's not a perfect film.
Yeah,
but I was so invested by it. I noticed the flaws and didn't care.
Yeah, I think that was something that kind of hit me as well, and I think I was possibly trying to temper things enough that I was going to go down to an 8, but actually, I think I will go for a 9 as well.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, it was a really good film.
Yeah, I almost wish we could do a spoiler review of it, because I just want to talk about it more and more, but we don't do that here. So
maybe we can set up a Patreon and we can do spoiler reviews on a Patreon or something.
As if anyone's going to want to pay us for that.
People don't listen to us for free.
Oh no, but yeah, no, I loved it. And there's so many things I could mention right now, but I just won't. But anyone that is actually listening to it, go and watch it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, make it the first thing that you watch.
Yeah, and it's on Netflix, so it's not even hard to find.